俺の財宝か？欲しけりゃくれてやる。探せ！この世の全てをそこに置いてきた。
Yo guys, and welcome to this new video where I discuss what realistically expect from the apparently incoming Luffy vs Big Mom fight. But before seeing all of that in detail, let me say that I publish new videos every week, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to always know when I upload something new. Alright, with that said, let's jump straight into it. So the first thing we should actually try to establish is whether there is going to be a fight or not. And if we decided to believe what Luffy said in Punk Hazard, that he will defeat all the Yonko, following the One Piece non-written rule that everything he says is often a spoiler about the plot, then the question becomes, is the duel versus Big Mom going to happen in this situation or somewhere else? Well, it's a fact that the only female emperor already had her own dedicated arc, and I think we can be very confident in assuming the Sunny won't sail Totland's sweet seas again, especially considering that after Brook managed to copy the Queen's poneglyphs, there is nothing left for the Mugiwaras there, and a much more natural development would be sailing towards the next islands ahead, maybe Elbaf, involving in this way the two emperors that didn't have yet their own active part in the New World phase of the manga. So all of that makes very improbable the Luffy vs Big Mom battle will happen after Wano, because if so, Oda would need to dedicate some chapters specifically to that in a way which would unavoidably appear as a stretch with the only purpose to make this fight happen, and since this would clearly be completely unfitting the One Piece standards, considering Oda created the perfect conditions for the duel in Udon, I think we can exclude the possibility the fight will happen after the end of the adventure in the Land of Samurai. But if so, this means it will be part of the current arc. And again, considering how Oda purposely isolated her from her crew, making her losing her memories to exploit the natural traits of her personality in order to bring her to Udon and direct her anger towards Luffy, the impression is that everything the author did to Lin from the moment she arrived was for the only purpose of making her fight Luffy in that prison. So we can conclude that if there will ever be a Big Mom vs Luffy fight, it can only be now in Udon, and it would also be a perfect opportunity for Luffy himself as both a training and a sort of test before facing Kaido again. Indeed, even if the way he was destroyed the first time demonstrated he is not Yonko level yet, Big Mom's amnesia makes her kinda nerfed this time, since she clearly does remember she can use a Devil Fruit ability and Haki. And in this moment she doesn't even remember what both are, meaning she won't use them consciously in the duel versus Mugiwara, just like she didn't while destroying Queen. And Big Mom, in a state not allowing her to use both her Sword Napoleon and Haki, is particularly convenient for a man made of rubber who can only be damaged by cutting weapons and Buso Shock. Moreover, O-Lin clearly won't use also Observation Haki, meaning Luffy's future sight won't be countered, and this, combined with his natural speed and agility, will make very easy for him to avoid his opponent's attacks, at least in the first part of the battle, since, as we will see later, we should expect, together with Luffy's evolution in mastering advanced armament Haki, also a Lin evolution in the same fight. But even if this could make it seem too easy for a fight versus a Yonko, we should remember again how Big Mom not only didn't use Haki or Devil Fruit abilities to defeat Queen, but mainly that she didn't even need them, implying even in this state she won't be an easy obstacle to overcome at all. Also because we should always remember that, as Sanji said in Totland, her body is so naturally strong to make her like an iron balloon, which is the very reason why Badge's plan to kill her involved weakening her by causing an emotional shock. Moreover, to affirm how unbelievably powerful O-Lin still is in her current condition was also probably the reason why Oda made her defeat Kaido's calamity so easily and quickly. In this situation, a key aspect is that Luffy doesn't know she lost her memories. Indeed, he thinks she's the same woman he met in Totland, and this will deny him to fool around and get too careless as he sometimes does in some fights, allowing him to keep high the concentration, especially in his attempts to master Flowing Sakura, which, thanks to Big Mom's nerfed condition we mentioned before, will probably be many, since being her unable to damage her opponent, at least at the beginning, Mugiwara will have many opportunities to fail in trying to master advanced armament Haki, that, as I said in my chapter review, ultimately is something associated to remembering and understanding the sensation he proved when he removed his and Yogoro's exploding collars. So for what concerns the first part of the fight, I think we can expect to see the Straw Hat Captain dodging O-Lin's attacks and sometimes protecting Grandpa Io by trying to block them, like Rayleigh did using advanced armament Haki with the Elephant Strike at the beginning of the 3D2Y training. Of course, he will also attack, trying to use Flowing Sakura like Hyo did during the Sumo Inferno tournament, which, considering what we said before about Big Mom's Iron Ball body structure, is also probably the only way Mugiwara has to truly damage the Yonko. Now, in the context we depicted, the key aspect becomes how O-Lin will react to this situation. Indeed, it's very unlikely she will remain the same Haki-less fighter, and this is because otherwise we won't have a real fight. We will only have a very efficient training for Mugiwara that in the end will lead him to master Flowing Sakura. But since, for what we said before, this would probably be the only occasion for the two to fight, and considering its outcome, which we will discuss later in this video, whatever it is will only be relevant and influent for the Wano Arc if she somehow evolves, we should expect an in-battle improvement not only on Luffy's side but also on Lin's. And this would also be the most natural development for her specific character in the condition she is now. Indeed, the fact she didn't find the Oshiruko she wanted makes the possibility of a tantrum very likely, and that condition of great stress could be the trigger to recover her memories, or it could bring her to a sort of automatic use of her soul ability and Haki. But even if the tantrum won't happen, her determination to fight associated to her anger, combined with the strength of the opponent she's facing, will probably make Big Mom use those abilities that we can assume at this point of her life her body is naturally used to employing in battles. And in this context, seeing her opponent constantly using Haki for the entire course of the battle could make it easier for her instincts to resurface. If so, she will likely start to use Haki again in a moment when Luffy is starting to grasp the feeling of advanced buzzer shock. In this way, what before could be considered nothing more than a training will gradually become a real Yonko level fight, especially if her anger towards Luffy, which even if for different reasons was why she went in Wano in the first place, makes her remember who she is. And the memories coming back not only would change completely the consequences of this battle, as we will see in a moment, but it would also deny the possibility of the battle itself being interrupted. Indeed, even if, as I said in the chapter review, this is not possible on Kaido's hand thanks to Karibu's surprisingly effective help, in the case Big Mom remains the memoryless O-Lin, there's always the chance Kiku and maybe even Chopramon will try to stop her. But if instead, as more probable, they will stay put and maybe try to free as many prisoners as possible to make them join the Ninja Pirate Ming Samurai Alliance, the only way for the duel to end will be with a true winner. And of course here we have two possibilities, but the interesting thing is that O-Lin's victory is kinda unlikely, and this is because if we assume Luffy will master Flowing Sakura anyway, because otherwise his defeat will only mean again a long stop to recovery with probably no other possibilities to acquire the power-up he needs to defeat Kaido, then O-Lin winning, especially in a situation where at the beginning she was fighting without even using Haki, would be as saying that this power-up is not as effective as it needs to be against a Yonko, making it much more difficult to think Luffy would stand a chance against the dragon he will face in Onigashima. Moreover, not only in this case there will always be the stop to recovery, which won't give Luffy the possibility to continue his training in advanced armament Haki, but mainly it would only allow unlikely consequences of the fight itself. Indeed, in the case O-Lin will maintain her amnesia, of course she will remain with Chopper and Kiku, and so the most logical development would be for all of them, included the defeated Luffy, to return in Kuri with Kawamatsu, Yo and the other freed prisoners, which is something that won't change at all O-Lin's position even after everything she did, while at the same time, for what we said before, completely destroying the expectations about Luffy's second round versus Kaido. If instead she will regain her memories, then we will have a situation where she won't stop until Luffy is dead, with nobody capable to stop her, which is something difficult to combine with the escape of all those prisoners who are supposed to join the Ninja Pirate Ming Samurai Alliance, and so all of that makes more likely the winner will be Luffy. Especially considering that, for what we said at the beginning, this will probably be the only chance for the Mugiwara to defeat the Yonko Big Mom. Moreover, the consequences of this outcome, being opposite to those we just described, seem more adapted to the continuation of this Wano Arc. Indeed, in this case, Luffy not only will demonstrate the effectiveness of his advanced armament Haki, but also support with facts his natural confidence, cause concern in Kaido's subordinates witnessing his victory, and also have the immediate possibility to continue training his Flowing Sakura in combination with his other techniques. For what concerns instead Big Mom, Luffy's victory would create many possibilities fitting the unpredictability typical of One Piece. Indeed, in the case she doesn't recover her memories while fighting, there's a chance Chopper and Kiku will retrieve her, while if she does, it's certain they will leave her unconscious body in Udon, and in both cases there's also always the possibility the Beast Pirates will capture her instead, creating the opportunity of a Yonko-Yonko interaction we don't see in the manga since Shanks' meeting with Whitebeard. In any case, the impression is that this scenario will give her role in Wano the opportunity to move to the next step, especially considering the new loss of consciousness could be itself what causes her memories to return. So at this point we can only wait the next chapter to see if Oda confirms these ideas or not. And until then, that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching, don't forget to leave a like, make sure to subscribe. See you next time. Jane.